Hello, this is just a short video on how I've made this cabin machine. We'll start with the wheels. So these are Baltic abrasive cabin wheels. They're 2 sintered hard wheels and then 4 soft wheels. And as you can see, they've got like a foam backing so you can press in. Makes it a lot easier. Those were actually off eBay. They were a good price, but they've gone up now. But you can get them off the website as well, and you can buy all different grits you need. These the grits that we chose are 80, 220, 280, 600, 1200, 3000. And by that time, they're really, really nice. They don't need very much more polishing than that, really. Next, we'll talk about the spacers. So, in order to get the spacing between each of these wheels, I used nylon plastic spacers that I had machined out. So, the internal diameter of those is 1 inch, and that's set by the shaft size. So the shaft size is 1 inch, and these wheels come with a 1 inch internal diameter. That's the standard size that they come in. So the spacers I've gone for are 30mm wide, and that gives a really nice spacing between your wheels. These 2 wheels, the actual internal part of the wheels is off center, so that's why these ones appear more like they are closer together. So the shaft that I'm using to connect everything together is stainless steel. It's 1 inch diameter stainless steel shaft. It's 600mm long. In this side, I've got approximately 30mm of thread, and these are just 24mm lock nuts. And then on the other side, I've got 2, I don't know if you can see that, but they're 2 circlips. So when you slide your shaft in, you slide your shaft in from this way. It butts up against the circlips on the bearing. And then on this side, there is 2 lock nuts. So the first lock nut you tighten up, and that sets the preload of the whole set, because none of these have got grub screws or anything. There's nothing actually holding these physically to the shaft. It's all done by friction. So you set your preload on them. You just need you can do it by hand. It's nothing. You don't need nothing major. And then the second lock nut just locks off the first nut. The next thing we talk about is the bearings. So the bearings are just inch internal diameter bearings off eBay. I chose these because they were a good price and you can grease them, so they're serviceable. Basically, you'll be able to make it last a bit longer. The bearings cost about 30 quid. Nothing, not too bad. So the bearings actually sit on a frame I've built. So these pillars, one either side here, these pillars are 100mm from the base here to the bearing, and that just gives you plenty of room to get your hands under. If you drop a stone or anything, you can get your hand in to get it out, basically. And if you can see where my wrist sits, it's quite comfy resting on there to polish the stones with. The pillars and all the frame is just mild steel that I've welded together and painted. It's more than fine, really. As long as it's all covered with paint, it's not going to go rusty. Like a bit of rust because I missed a bit of paint. Next, so the actual frame itself that goes all the way. This frame only goes the footprint of the whole thing. The frame's made out of 25mm box section steel. And it's just welded all four corners and painted. And that just slots into this aluminium shroud I've built. I've put this on here. This is just pipe insulation from B&Q. Gives you something to rest your wrists on. Makes it a bit more comfortable. The next thing is the shell. So the shell is made out of 2mm aluminium sheet. So basically all I did was I had the base and I scored a line all the way along the back edge and then bent it. I bent this side up, and you can see I put a bit of a relief cut in there, bent it up, another relief cut, scored it along the edge and bent this over. And I cut that on a bit of an angle. I cut this side pieces out on a bit of an angle. Just makes it a bit nice and it keeps the water from splashing everywhere. On both sides there is a hole. This hole is so that you can get out the shaft. So you just slide the shaft out and the wheels come out on the inside, and you just slide the whole shaft out when you need to change a wheel or service it. The shell is riveted together on the ends here. That gives it's plenty strong enough. It's not going nowhere. And all the way around I've run a bead of silicone. So there's silicone there and there's silicone actually on the bottom there as well. All the way around, all down the back of these bearings here, these towers here. Silicone everywhere, and I've not had any leaking issues really. So that's fine. The next thing is this brush here. This brush we put in, it's a door draft excluder, and the wheels turn this way when it's in, and it just helps distribute the water, and it stops the water flicking at you. It keeps the water on the wheel, and it stops you just having a line of water down the centre. Mainly it just stops you getting really wet, because it does run quite wet. The next thing we'll talk about is the drainage. So for drainage I've just used a standard sort of sink drain from B&Q, and that just sandwiches the aluminium base. There's 2 rubber O-rings either side, and then you just tighten it with that screw there. So underneath I've used corrugated pipe that came with this as like a set, and then that drains down into just a bucket for now. Eventually what I shall do is put some sort of collector underneath there, and then just have some hardline piping going straight around into the drainage for the unit. So that way there's no having to change empty the water bucket all the time. And same for the water system. So the water system is basically fish tank airline control valves. You can buy them from aquatic shops and places like that, or off eBay. So I've got one over each wheel, just drilled a hole through, and basically I've just poked the pipe through and it just sits just above the wheel. Then I have pipes connecting each of the taps all the way to the water source. So for now the water source is quite small. This does go through a lot of water, so we're forever topping this up. So what I will do is I'm going to run a water line from the sink all the way around, and I've just got constant water supply to it because they do use a lot of water. So the drive mechanism, the way that the actual shaft is driven is by this here. So it's a V-belt pulley. That I had to have it bored out to 1 inch inside diameter for the shaft, and I'm using an SPA size belt, so 13mm. So this pulley on the shaft end is a 6-inch pulley. And then on the motor, let's get that out of the way. This is just a temporary motor at the minute. So what we're going to change to is a waterproof motor. Well, one I've got that's a bit more water resistant at least. The belt goes through the shroud, and then this end here is a 4-inch pulley. Again, SPA. And while we're here, the motor I'm using at the minute is a 1400 RPM motor, 1/4 horsepower, which is absolutely more than powerful enough for this. You won't be able to stop it. I can't stop it. No matter how hard we press with a stone, it doesn't stop. So it's more than good enough. So in order to mount the motor and everything, I've mounted the cabin machine itself on a base. So this is just 3/4 inch MDF, and then this is screwed to the MDF, and then the motor is I just put the motor on the belt, pulled it tight and screwed the motor down using the mounting plate that came with the motor. So, and when I get the new motor, the motor mounting's different, so I'll have to redo it, but it doesn't really matter too much. I've got the motor the base stood up on some legs here. That's just so that I've got space for the drainage to come through. I think that's everything. So if there's any questions, just put them in the comments.